quick message to say that we understand that addiction, mental health and real life is a very serious subject. Although we try and keep a light-hearted and often humorous approach to the subjects on this show, we understand that times are not always easy. If you are struggling or are suffering with something, then we urge you to seek the correct help or at least speak to someone. Though we are not doctors or experts in this field, our DMs are always open to anyone. We are not immune from the harsh realities and struggles that come with all mental health issues, and we are here to help and listen to anyone who reaches out. You are never alone, and we thank you again for listening and watching.
Did you put something on social media and call me Megsy
Yeah,
in the week? And I
yeah,
was
Megsy's in
like,
there.
quite like Megsy. Um, and then I was thinking, what could I call you? Because like you were like the leader. And then
Definitely.
this is how daft my brain is. And then I thought, like, what can I put in front of Sam? Like leader Sam or something. And then I said senior Sam, senior Sam and Megsy.
Yeah.
And then it made me think, I heard a story about you as a youth, being a man or a boy, having a poster of Keith Senior on your wall.
Yeah. Also looks like you.
Yeah, yeah, another lookalike. But you could have been one of the only people in the world with a Keith Senior poster, surely.
I don't know. I think there would have been a few up north. I think I was the only Midlands-based
Yeah,
Keith
Midlands
Senior fan.
based, yeah.
No, I also guarantee no one listening to this, because there's not many people at the minute,
No, no,
will know
no.
who Keith Senior is, other than my dad, who actually spoke to me in the week. He said, "I did like your podcast, Sam. I listened to it on 1.5 speed because I feel like it just conversation flowed a little bit better." So
Did he please tell me you started with you're right.
oh, of course, it is. You're right, Sam. But yeah, very backhanded compliment, basically saying that me and you cannot have a conversation that flows. He has to have it on 1.5, which I don't know
Yeah.
if you've ever listened to a podcast on 1.5, but it's essentially like just. It's like listening. Can you remember the rapper Twister?
You more than everything but my dollar
I
penny.
do remember
It's
Twister,
like
yeah.
listening to a Twister song without
Yeah.
music, and it's pure information, no nuance or humour coming through, because it's like, and then this happened, and I was like, my dad's listened to it on that. It's
Yeah.
probably the
Must be
one
tough to
time.
take in.
It's probably the one time my dad has had the opportunity to really listen to me, listen to
Yeah.
his son and his story, and he's gone, yeah, I'll have that on 1.5, I reckon. And he
Yeah.
said, yeah, it was just over a bit quicker then. So thanks for that one, Dad.
I won't
Um,
we won't go into the reaction my old man gave me.
yeah, well, actually, your dad, I
It
was like,
wasn't positive.
your dad's added me on Facebook,
Oh, was he really?
so I'm making waves.
The only thing he couldn't get past was that you were Sam Harrison from the Tigers. That's the one bit he kept coming back to, and he must have asked me. I went for a coffee with him Thursday. He must have asked me three, maybe four times. I was like, "Yeah, the same one. Are you sure?" Oh, I was like, "Do you want me to ask him? Do you want me to check see if I've got the right one next week?"
How the mighty have
You,
fallen in
yeah,
his head.
maybe, yeah, yeah. What's that wanker doing with Megamind?
Like, I know rugby players struggle post-career, but bloody hell, a podcast with my son. Yeah,
So
what have you
moving
got?
back
Yeah, right.
just to the if I got a poster of Keith Senior
Yeah,
behind me,
yeah,
is that good homage? What do you about that? Is that could that be
yeah,
my first upgrade? So I'm
yeah.
gonna hit 100 days Boxing Day, I think it is. So if I can source a Keith Senior poster, do you reckon that's my first trinket or homage?
I
Whatever we
think
call.
it's got to be on the cards. Anyway, let's play the theme tune and get on
Let's
with it.
do it.
I don't know whether it's a easy time of year for anyone. It's like the most cliche subject to talk about, isn't it? But it isn't. It isn't easy. And I think when you're not drinking, it's doubled down. There's no escape, is there, from the boredom at times. and just that feeling of merriness that I don't know whether it really exists apart from on Muppet Christmas Carol. I just don't know
Yeah,
whether it's
which
it's a tough one, isn't it? To
which is a favourite of ours,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
mutual favourite, the Muppets Christmas Carol.
Yeah, well, we've
Um,
both spoke in depth about the ghost of Christmas present potentially having a bit of a drink problem himself, haven't we?
he's a festive guy. Yes,
To put
yeah.
it
I
blunt,
think
to put it lightly.
he lives for the moment he's in. Hence him being, the ghost of Christmas present. He certainly likes to live in the moment. If he doesn't have to ever leave the present, does he get away with it because he never has a hangover? Because he's only ever living in the present, so he never comes down. He's just on a high that never ends, maybe.
Yeah, but at the end, if you remember, he's fucked at the end. He's all grey and
Oh
haggard
yeah, it just fades
in the
away.
graveyard, and he sings the song, and
Yeah,
then just goes like, "I'm
yeah,
off.
just he
I'm gonna
he
leave you
just
with the Grim
turns
Reaper."
into dust.
Yeah, and you can tell
But
Scrooge is like, "Where you going? You've just been singing how good the day is, and then you leave me in the graveyard now."
he
So
goes hard, I think, doesn't he? Goes to Christmas present. He goes hard. He enjoys it, and he fucks off bed when he's done. See you, Scrooge. You can have a nightcap, mate.
yeah,
I've done. I'm done.
which is actually the identical thing that I used to do every Christmas Eve. I'll tell a very very brief story, but I used to call it the chairman's Christmas luncheon, and every Christmas Eve, me and my mates would go on like a pub crawl around Leicester, and we'd always buy.
Were you the chairman?
I was the chairman,
Yeah, that's
self
excellent.
appointed
Yeah,
chairman,
that's
obviously.
that would have been weird if there was no chairman.
So I was the chairman
Yeah.
Christmas lunch, and but at times there was just two of us, so like it wasn't. There was
Well,
only
we've established that's all you need for a community last
yeah.
week. So, you know, yeah, that's all
Anyway,
you
yeah,
need.
that was the chairman's Christmas luncheon, and we'd always make it back to our hometown from Leicester on the train, and then that would be me done. I'd be done because I'd go so hard. I was very much the ghost of Christmas present then. Um, I once drank a bottle of poppers, poppers,
Oh my God,
and
yes, yeah.
nearly was admitted to hospital on Christmas Day. So that wouldn't have been. Maybe the ghost of Christmas presents doing poppers as well. Who knows? But let's move on. I don't know how we've got onto that.
Yeah.
Um, have you had a good week? Other than that, what's your week been like?
Oh, had a good one. How's your week been?
Yeah, how's your week been?
How has your week been? My week. I've just gone proper Hinkley there.
Yeah,
My week has been all right, busy. And like genuinely busy. I don't know whether you find this or found it, and I'm sure you still live it now. But you know when you were like steaming drunk all the time, you used to sort of tell yourself you were really busy. You were like marred out all the time. You never had time for this, but you were just in the pub all the time. So everything you wanted to do didn't get done. You know what I mean? You always
mm.
felt busy because you never made time for anything.
Yeah, yeah,
So, and I find that now, when people sort of ask me, I am like genuinely quite busy. I work harder than I've ever done. I'm present for the boys. I try and be present for my wife as best I can. Um, but yeah, I do so much more now, and I work so much harder, and we've been working on stuff for the podcast as well. Trying to push that, like these little admin bits like the TikTok stuff, and then there's keeping yourself in check as well because the dirty work as it is, is daily for
yeah,
me anyway. I'm speaking for myself. That the daily work that you need to not drift into a place of self-pity and all of the negativity. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, that's daily work, isn't it? You have to keep pushing yourself because it's so easy to to slip back into that old me. So yeah, genuinely busy, but really enjoying it as well. I would add that sort of that caveat
Yeah.
in comparison to when you used to feel flat out when you were drunk and you never had time for anything. You always felt like shit as well. And you were like, oh, you know, worked so hard and I've got this and I'm behind on this. Like I'm enjoying it now. I enjoy life. I enjoy turning up to work. I enjoy all my social aspects of life, and I enjoy working hard. You know, going to the gym and everything. I just enjoy life. I'm fulfilled, and I'm grateful for it. Um, but that doesn't mean it's not hard. You know, like we had a gig last night, and I found it so difficult. In and about some old friends and drunks and stuff like that. You know, it doesn't mean it's not difficult.
Yeah. How do you? What do you mean you found it difficult then? So to not actually drink or to just be there?
I don't feel you know, like I'm in a place where I'm going to drink, but it's when you play in a band as well, and you sort of thrust into the pub, and I'm at a stage. I remember the first time I did this. I did a lot of going out. I was going out and drinking zeros and cokes because I was still chasing that social aspect of it.
Yeah.
The second time around, I couldn't give a fuck about that part. You know, I've sort of realised that the pub past about like 8 o'clock at night or something. If you're not drinking, it's not the greatest place to be, is it? You know,
No.
it's set up for boozers. So, you know, it's great playing in the band and stuff, but you know, I'll see sort of old friends and it's um it's like I don't know what I thought. It's like a bad fart. Like you see you see these old friends and it's sort of great to have them around, and it's like you respect the fart, don't you? But you just think, I'd rather not be here around that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
The,
probably a terrible analogy.
no, it's bang on. And it's one. Yeah, I definitely agree. There's an early part uh, where you do have to really watch what you're doing and like know, or almost like highlight in the diary. Right, that's going to be a potentially tricky time. That one's going to be
Yeah,
fine because it's actually something I want to do. That one, I've got to prepare myself that my brain is going to try and get me to drink at that situation. And then for me it was just like at the start I was just that's going to be a tricky one, so prepare for it to be a tricky one, and then reward yourself after for getting through it with a curly whirly or something.
yeah,
Would be the often the way I'd do it, is just reward myself with various Cadbury's products. But
yeah.
it's fucking hard, isn't it,
You
at
see that
first?
that makes a deal of sense to me actually because it was my office or my work's Christmas do Thursday, so we went out for a curry with some friends and stuff, and I was quite mentally prepared for that one because the year last December I was still drinking and I you know I ended up pretty drunk, and I was like you can't do that this year so I was quite mentally prepared for it, and then last night with that gig. It's just another gig to me.
Yeah,
But there were people there that I perhaps wasn't expecting, and certain, you know, people you haven't seen for a while, obviously at the moment, just trigger me a little bit. So I just found it really difficult last night, and maybe that is because I hadn't sort of set out and gone, you know, this is going to be tough tonight, batten the hatches down. I just sort of turned up with the drum kit and then been like, oh God, they're all here.
yeah,
The bad
yeah.
farts. The
The
farts
bad
are
farts
lingering.
get you if you don't prepare. That is true. That's the pain in the arse about being sober or not doing drugs or
What?
whatever, is
Sitting in farts?
sitting in farts and just you constantly. It's like I'm trying to think of. We always have. Why do we have to think of an? You don't have to be an analogy for
No, you
anything, is
don't
there?
have
You
to.
don't
No,
have to
but
do
it's
that.
funny. It's funny.
And I've got a Keith Senior poster in the back of my head as well. So my
Yeah.
ADHD is like really starting to kick in now. It's like 5 a.m. in the morning. It's gone, right. Good morning, Sam. Do you want to think of something mental? Here you go.
Yeah.
Um,
Put put the camera on that bold idiot's on.
yeah, but I was just gonna say, like, you do have to always make sure all your gear is like in check. With you can't just be careless with when you're an addict who's not taking what you're addicted to. You've like got to just make it's like a bit of an effort a lot of the time. You just got to at first you just got to make sure that right that's going to happen. So I need to be prepared for this, and then might be in a bad mood. So then that, and then I'll do that to put myself in a good mood or whatever. And it's like a constant management
Yeah,
of real
yeah.
life. Whereas when
And
you're
I,
drinking, you can just go with the flow, but the flow is just drinking. But you can just
yeah,
go with it, can't you? And you
yeah,
like
you can, yeah.
whatever the consequences are, which are terrible for me and you probably, well, have been. You don't care. You just go with it. You go with that flow, and it's just so easy, isn't it? So much
You
easier
don't
than doing this.
you don't have to live with the feelings, do you? I think that's part of it. When you say manage it, and I think at the moment I'm still very much sort of learning to manage what does trigger me and sitting with those emotions. I know you mentioned something about your mood then. Maybe you've understood over time what things can put you in a bad mood, and what can bring you out of that mood. I haven't sort of learned what can bring me out of that bad mood because I was really conscious Friday morning after my work's due that I had just sat there in sort of silence, this table, like a table for multiple people, and like I had a little island on my own
Yeah,
at the end of the table. I was like an alien on his own little island, and I can't help it. It's my decision not to drink. I don't want to drink, because I've been down the road so many times, and I understand that, and I'm not in danger of drinking. But moving back to the dummy analogy, it's that again. I sit there and I feel so isolated that because I can't have that dummy, and I'm probably still at a stage where I'm trying to work out what can I do to be better when that time comes.
yeah,
Because I don't think I'm not a massively social person anyway. I'm not great. I'm not a great conversationalist. And I think part of my younger infatuation with alcohol is that it brings a side out of you, doesn't it? That you can't, or I can't let go, or I can't give to people, without a few beers.
yeah,
And I'm having to sit with those feelings now. That's
yeah,
that's another thing about it, isn't it? Not drinking makes you sit with yourself. You have to
mm,
learn who you are as a person and right, how am I going to deal with who I am and all of my brilliances and all of my flaws, all of my imperfections? How am I going to deal with those on my own without medication? How
mm,
am I going to, you know what I'm trying to say? I'm sure
yeah,
you
yeah.
do.
So you were saying, obviously, I wasn't listening to that either. I'm sure it was a very good point, but I was thinking, you've gone from me being the ghost of Christmas present to you potentially sitting there in silence, a lot like the ghost of Christmas future, who doesn't speak, just
No,
pointing at curries on the menu.
that that is absolutely perfect.
Yeah,
I think if we were both being ghosts of the of the haunting Scrooge, Ebenezer Scrooge, you would be the ghost of Christmas present, and I very much would be the silent ghost of Christmas future.
just
Yeah,
pointing to stuff in the
I
curry
don't
house.
think I don't think you can see the face of that one as well.
No, you can't. Just
So I'd be
black.
quite good at that, yeah, because then I couldn't get tagged as Beaker or Megamind or anything. I could just put the cape over and point.
Or Keith Senior. Are you saying? Did you mention that you look like him? Because there might be a similarity there.
Possibly. I mean, he's another bold Englishman.
Yeah, we'll get him
Um,
on. We'll get him on. Keith, how you doing?
yeah,
Great career. Have you
I
ever
wonder what he's
been?
doing now. Yeah.
Do you
How are
like
you,
the
Keith?
bag? Um,
How's you
yeah.
boozing,
So
Keith?
you've had a tricky week. I had a good week. It's the week that it all kicks into gear. Christmas is slightly different in Australia. It's not as festive, but it's just more like a long holiday for a lot of people, and it's slightly more Americanized. You hear the word holidays at times, which I really struggle with. The holidays.
Do you really?
I had my Christmas party as well, and I had a thought while I was at the Christmas party, which for me was it was tricky. We did paintballing, which was fun, sort of. Although I think I might have outgrown paintballing, and I was just thinking of other stuff, like because it was a day off. I was like, oh, I could be doing anything right now, but I've got Samoans shooting me with paintballs, which actually hurts. So we did paintballing, that was all right, and then we just went on a pub crawl, which wasn't the most fun. I was driving the bus, and when you're not drinking, you're not doing the other stuff. Australian pubs aren't the best place to be. There's no dartboards here,
No.
minimal pool tables. I started a game of pool with about 8 of the lads, like who are on my works do, and they just, they're at the bar, doing having a good time. They're not keeping track of the score. They weren't playing. They don't play two shots here as well, which is unbelievable in New South Wales.
No?
No two shots. So anyway, the works do was tricky, and once you're in that spot of something being tricky and you can't get out of it, fortunately, I don't have that thought process of like, oh well, drink would make this all better. It's just not there as an option anymore.
Yeah.
So I know I just have to sit with the boredom, and I'll go on a lot of walks around perimeters of pubs. I sometimes like to pretend I'm like a security guard patrolling, just looking round, monitoring the situation. I'll go in like the gambling rooms that they have here and just walk round and just check that it's all in order, basically. And I was just
Senior Sam in
very
action, I think
bored.
that is.
But a quote came to me because I was sort of focusing on how shit it was, and I was like, well, it's an example of a time where I can focus on how boring this is for me, or I can focus on how far I've came, because there's examples in the pub of people who are who you used to be, and
Yeah.
I was like, well, if I focus on how I'm not better than them at all, and it sounds like I do mean that now I've said that, but I'm not better than anyone, but I'm where I want to be now, and if I focus on that, then that boredom is irrelevant. It's like, and I think there's a quote that is something about focus on the pain, you continue to suffer. Focus on the growth, you continue to the opposite of suffer, whatever that is. And
Okay.
which is a great quote, isn't it? But no,
Yeah, yeah.
it's
It
if you
could have been. It could have been. It could have been a really good quote.
if you keep continuing how shit it is not being able to
Yeah,
join in
I
or
get you,
whatever,
but totally, yeah, totally get it and
you're
totally
fucking
understand
yourself
it. Yeah.
over. But if you go, I'm actually the person I want to be, or going towards that, and I'm doing a positive thing for my kids and my family and myself, that immediately for me just gets rid of any negative. And I'm like, yeah, I'll be bored. I'll be bored then. That's fine. I'll watch they had the cricket on anyway, so I'll just watch the cricket, which is
Mm.
quite boring at times, especially when England are as shit as they are at the minute. So yeah, that was the works Christmas do.
You're tuned into the dirty work with Sam and Rich, where the work is really dirty. See?
I've got to get through a Christmas. I've got to get through multiple Christmases, to get where I would really like to go. So that there aren't sort of what ifs at the moment. I've realised this week, when you when you sit with your thoughts and think to yourself, I've realised in myself that I have got to be stronger than I've ever been. I've got to show myself something that I've never ever been able to do in my whole life. I've
Yeah,
never
yeah,
had to be this strong. So what I'm asking myself to do in this, with this decision and in this journey, I'm asking myself to be something that I've never seen myself be. It's hard to visualize how strong you need to be and be that person because I've never been able to be him. I'm setting new precedents for myself in strength and goals and realization and all of that. And I can't I kind of find that exciting. That
yeah,
that's a really healthy part of it that I can show myself that I can be something that I never thought I could. That's something, and I've only stumbled across that thought this week as I was sort of sitting chewing over
yeah,
being really silent at the Christmas curry, when I thought about how I was, and I was thinking, and I've realised, I'm showing myself something that I've never been before.
yeah. I hate to piss on your bonfire, but all of that hard work and being something you've never been just results in being a base level human.
Yeah,
Is the
yeah,
bad
that
news.
and
The
I,
funny
I,
news, really.
yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind that because, part of I think when I think about myself, part of my reason for ending up where I am so bad, and an absolute A1 escape artist, is because I never wanted to be a baseline human being.
Yeah,
I never liked being it, and part of if I ever talk about my old drinking life and my past, a lot of it is down to not being able to accept that other people, my peers and stuff, were moving on, and I wasn't.
yeah,
I couldn't be that baseline. I couldn't take the steps. I couldn't get that job. I couldn't get the new car. I couldn't provide holidays. I couldn't buy that house.
yeah,
All the while I was getting left behind, and I'd got more and more able to be a baseline human. So you just turn to drink and drugs, don't you? Because that allows you to block out the fact that you can't do it. You haven't learned to be a baseline human. So
yeah,
yeah, maybe now I'm finally finally doing that, maybe. Or on the verge of it. I don't know.
yeah. It's like, did you used to play Tomb Raider?
With Lara Croft.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Like it's
that one.
like there's her house. It's like a big manor, and she's got a butler, and people used to lock the butler in the pantry. I don't know if you remember that, but you basically used to have to
Yes.
learn.
Yeah.
You'd have to learn the controls, but once you'd learnt the basic controls, you could then start level one. And it's a bit like that, isn't it? We were
Right.
drinking so much piss that we couldn't we hadn't learnt the basic controls to play Tomb Raider and start the real game.
Yeah,
And that
you
does feel, and I'm not just trying to like make a funny analogy either. It does feel like removing alcohol, having that fucking mission at times of not drinking for a couple of years and getting all that shit gone basically allows you to start the real game of life. Like, because now I'm
do you
like,
know
I'm like, oh, okay, so I can actually, you actually cry at like sad films and stuff. So that's that emotion. Never felt that before. Um,
yeah.
oh, you can actually save money on car insurance if you really do use comparison websites. So that's interesting. And like these basic
Yeah,
abilities,
really basic stuff.
you
Yeah, I know.
learn them. And I think this episode, I was gonna ask a question. We'll move on to it in a minute, but we're sort of naturally doing that anyway. Is for me that is dirty work. Is like all alcoholism has been for me is something that's not allowed me to play the proper game of life that other people were doing.
Yeah. You know what?
And
You
yeah,
say that's not an analogy just to be funny, but you actually it's just talking my language really. It makes complete. I can totally relate to that. That I do feel a bit like I am going through that Lara Croft house stage now,
yeah,
learning to play stuff. Like when you I don't know about you. I don't know about you, but I'm learning in 2025 that if I put money in the bank and I don't blow it on alcohol, it accumulates over the year
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
and I've got money for when stuff goes wrong.
yeah,
That isn't absolute basic. And like there'll be people like listening to this, like just blown away that a 40-year-old man says is saying that. But when you're in when you're in the grips of drinking drugs, like you don't think about the clutch might go on my car, which is very, it has recently. So that's the only example I can. But like, I could pay for that. I could
Yeah,
pay for that all of a sudden. I had money to do it,
yeah.
and I thought to myself once I'd got it done, fuck, if that happened 2 years ago, what would I have done? Because
Oh,
there would be
yeah,
no way I was paying for that. No
yeah.
way. And
No way.
that is the baseline human being that you can't be.
Yeah.
Unless you're really, unless you're really fortunate, and you've got a great job somehow,
Well, I
I
think,
often wonder how those, drunks that earn well, what happens to them guys? Because that's tough.
well, I don't want to sound like a knob here, but when I was playing rugby, I was getting paid well, like for a few years, and it was it would be really embarrassing because I'd never have any money, and on paper I was earning like good money, and it'd be like Brody'd be like, oh, like where are we going to go on holiday, and I'd just be like, fancy Barnstaple in North Devon, and she'd be
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's nice. Like I was thinking maybe, and I'd just be like, I got no money. Like I just assume you just assume that everyone's got no money, and there'd be times where she knew what was going on. It was all going. I was spending it all at Spa, but
Yeah, 10 for £10.
yeah, it was all going on that. But
And
there'd be
on new jeans.
times we'd be going through the bank account, and I'd be scrolling through so fast, just going. She's going, "Where's it all going?" I'd just be like scrolling through. Yeah, no, no. Like seeing Spa, Anchor, all these pubs come up on your bank. Just go, no, no, yeah, go through.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, look, I paid. Yeah, parking at the High Cross. That's where it's all gone. There you go. And it's insane that you can spend that much money on alcohol. But is that what you consider dirty work? What I sort of explained is just basically living in the real world, living with real emotions, and or what do you sort of think of it? Because I think it's a term that might be a handy word for what we're describing. Like I think dirty work sort of just came to us as like a random,
Yeah.
oh, just it's just a good song basically. And I was like, oh, dirty work. You're like, yeah, yeah, sweet, whatever. But the more it goes on, the more I'm like, it really does make sense of the way I have to think every day and the grind of at times.
Are you amazed by the things that you used to do with hangovers?
Yeah, yeah, training
Utterly
for one.
amazed.
I can,
Yeah.
and it's a serious point though. To be an alcoholic and function as like any sort of normal job and parent and be a husband, and it's quite hard. Like
Yeah. 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 You
it's
don't
not
have to be a
easy.
professional sportsman. No, no, no.
It's
To
not
notice
easy
this. Yeah.
to hold up a habit and like still get I don't know get to people to school on time or just function. It takes like a lot of mental toughness at times to, in a very serious way, to have an addiction
Yeah.
and live life. Like it gives you a strength that a lot of people probably don't have. So if you can, this is getting very serious, but if you can convert that strength that you build up as a pisshead into normal life, you can actually just run marathons and probably do like a really good time. Or like actually go to the gym at 4 in the morning and become very fit. Whereas before you're
Yeah.
just that
I mean,
like doing it because you're doing it.
I've heard things said, about drug addicts. When the drugs are running low, they will go to, and just in general, you know, and boozers as well. When the booze is running, like with you shitting yourself, the lengths that you will go to get the next fix or get the next 10 cans of Stella, the things you will sacrifice, the compromises you're willing to make, of your own dignity at times, with your jeans and stuff. If you can apply that discipline and that, fucking, I've lost the word. But that dedication, if you can apply that dedication for drinking and drugs and just find somewhere else to put it in your life, you can actually achieve some very, very great things, can't you?
Yeah, Yeah, it's funny.
because you
It's
are
funny.
as a drinker and a drug user, when you get in that zone, you're one of the most dedicated people on the planet, aren't you? That's
Deadly.
all you're bothered about. Yeah, all
Deadly.
you're bothered about. And if you could just harness that, move it somewhere else and harness it to something else, you know, as a person, and as an addict and whatever, you are actually pretty fucking switched on at doing stuff, aren't you?
Yeah.
You've just got to get rid of the addiction and the shit that you're in. Yeah, I'm definitely in the trenches. I am some way off. You're in the general's office now.
Yeah.
You know, pushing around like the Sabutio soldiers on maps. You're in the general's office, and I'm definitely like the cannon fodder at the minute.
You're
I'm
Jonah Louis going, can you stop the
Yes,
cavalry?
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I am Jonah Louis.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel. Sorry to interrupt you, but I feel definitely at the minute I'm in the proper still abstinence part, really having to fight to fight drinking at times in those moments. But going back to the dirty work thing, you know, when I'm out of those moments and I'm not in that fight, I'm in a really, really good place. I'm in a really, really good understanding of the results. You just can't see those results. That's sometimes what I struggle with, I think, at the moment. And that may just come with time and experience that you need to keep feeling the results. You need to keep not having the hangovers. As it's a Christmas thing now, I remember being what was an absolute devastation. Have you got any? You must have a little list. What not get presents you didn't get? And
Wow.
Tracy Island as a kid, you know, that's one. And until just sitting here now, I totally forgot about.
Mm.
But yeah, Tracy Island as a kid, that's I never had that. I had all the Thunderbirds, but never Tracy Island.
Action Man was huge at the time. And I was like, this is the year I'm getting one. I know it for a fact. And I got a figure. I got a figure,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he was an antique, non-movable, injured soldier.
right.
Like it was like World War One inspired. Basically, what you are now in the trenches, injured,
Yeah,
wounded.
yeah,
But he
yeah,
had didn't have a gun.
yeah.
He had the big wooden crutches.
Working his way out of a lifetime of alcoholism.
Yeah, but he came in like a sealed bag. You know, like a drug bag.
Right.
Came in a fucking
Yeah,
sealed bag,
a Ziploc bag, yeah.
sandwich
Big.
bag with like dust in the bottom, and these crutches and a bandage that you could bandage his head up. No guns, no nothing. But his actual uniform was like the only good bit was it was like a real felt uniform, which you didn't get with
Right.
real Action Man. So that was the only quality bit. He had this jacket with the World War Two tags here, and it was like fluffy felt, like snooker table. Maybe someone had used snooker
Right.
table felt for his jacket. And
Was this a homemade Action Man?
well, it wasn't
There's no
homemade,
branding.
no branding, in a sandwich bag, injured.
Had he, had your mum or dad bought this on a street corner in some
Well,
moody transaction?
what I think happened is my brother's got Down syndrome, and we used to go to a lot of different charity based services, and the Red Cross Library was one of the places I would frequent as a child with my brother.
Right.
And the Red Cross Library, I don't know how it works. It's a charity where you give in toys, but then you can also buy toys. And my mum used to I'd go like, oh, I'd love like basically an Action Man. And she'd go, well, we'll see what they've got at the Red Cross Library. And,
Yeah, right,
I'd be there
okay.
with the Argos book going like, well, you can look in here. Like we can just be normal and
Yeah.
have it in the Argos. We'll have a
Case
look at the Red
catalogue.
Cross Library. So I've got strong suspicions that injured World War Two, non-movable, so none of his limbs would move. He was stuck, injured, which is not what you want.
Rigor mortis had firmly set in.
Yeah,
He,
and
he may
yeah,
have been a deceased
yeah, and
deceased.
and when you look, I've got three sisters and a younger brother as well, so three older sisters, and I'd look round the lounge, the living room, like when we were all open and present, they're all like, and you're like, I've missed out here. I know because you start working out prices of stuff, and I'm going like, right, hair straighteners, they're 50 quid. She's had a nice dress,
Right.
John Lewis dressing gown, so that's 80 quid probably. And I'm looking at him in the sandwich bag, going like, something's not right here. Something's not right here. So
Shouldn't be laughing at your childhood disappointment quite so much, but
I'm going to do a listener question.
yeah.
And I've actually got a bit of a shout out on this. I've got a world famous MC to do some bars for us. Do you know
Okay.
MC Ed Slater? Have you heard of him?
If it's the Ed Slater that you know and played with, then I do know MC Ed Slater. Yeah,
He's a very good
I know.
MC, and he's very kindly sent in some of his best bars
Phenomenal.
for a
I
listener
can't.
question jingle. So let's listen to that now.
Alright, you lot. Time for dirty questions from you, dirty listeners. Dirty buggers. Dirty listeners. Dirty buggers.
What's the most outrageous thing your addiction led you to do? What's the most pitiful thing your addiction led you to do? And finally, how many bags of crisps do you think you've eaten on the toilet in your lives?
The person I am, like, I want to answer how many bags of crisps I've had on the toilet first, because I've got to have had. It'll be on one hand though, but I have had a bag of crisps on the toilet. I'm almost definite. Have you?
No. My
Well,
wife, though, claimed, and this is a lie. It has to be a lie. She said she hasn't had a bag of crisps since she was about 16.
16,
Yeah, like so she
and
thinks.
you're both mid 30s now.
Yeah, she's 35. She reckons she's not had a bag of crisps. You know, as in just like a bag of crisps that's a solo bag of crisps to yourself since she was 16.
So she's had a hand in a share bag.
Yeah, like she's
Or
had.
if there's
She
been
might
like
have
nibbles on
a
the bar
Dorito.
or
Yeah,
a buffet, she's
yeah,
been at them.
yeah, but that's not a bag
She's
of
not.
crisps, is it? She's not had one.
I don't know. You can get narky with this stuff now, can't you? Because she could just be doing half bags of crisps. She could just be going around your house just doing half bags of crisps,
Well, she lives
like
with me.
and throwing them away, and that'd really annoy me. Because there's one thing at home that really annoys me is half drunk cans of Pepsi Max.
Yeah,
I can't stand pouring Pepsi Max down the sink. I'm like, why have you opened this again?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
if she's just doing half bags, not sure about that. I'd be policing that.
Half anything as an addict is hard to watch, isn't it? When people leave
Yeah.
anything
Yes.
unfinished, it pisses
Yes.
you off.
And maybe I've never thought about that, you know. Maybe that's what annoys me so much when Lauren drinks half a can of Pepsi Max. Maybe it's not that I'm pouring it away, because I always think it's like, I could have had that and I would have drank it all.
Yeah, even though
And
I've
I'm
already
pouring,
had one.
yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
pouring it away now. But maybe it is the addict's brain. Maybe that's true. I'm annoyed that somebody hasn't done the full lot.
Oh, you fancied
Outrageous stuff
you fancied
on
the crisp?
outrageous stuff on the page. Yeah, I've done the Chris.
It doesn't
Outrageous.
have to be specific. It can be general.
I think I'd had a bottle of Bulmers. I'd put it in a pint glass and I had one sip, and the taxi arrived, and I couldn't find my keys, or I don't know what I'd done with them. They might have been in my coat. And I put the glass like in the front garden by the front door, and I was like, when I come home from town later, I'll finish that. So I've gone out. I've had a load more. I've come home, I've got no beers in the house. So my plan is then I'm just going to get dropped off at home, get some cash out of where I kept it in the house, and have a wander up to the 24-hour garage just up the road to get some more beers and have this pint with me. And I've got it all planned out. And when I get back, there's 3 or 4 slugs that have navigated their way onto the glass. And I decided to pick these slugs off, and I had about half of it, and then it dawned on me on the walk what I was doing. I like had this sobering moment that like, you're drinking slug beer here, so I threw half of it away, And it
That's
still
gross. Yeah.
it still haunts me now that like that is one of the grimmest things I've ever done. But I was in like this position where I was just desperate for more drink.
Mm. And you had the
I
slug
was
beer.
so I had the slug beer. I just say that when I say I'm not proud of it, it's not it's not the drinking the slug beer, because I've had mates that have like put the knob in pint glasses and stuff, like
Mm.
around rugby and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we used to play like fucking vodka arseholes
Yeah.
on the bus on the way home, where you pin somebody's legs up, like stand them upside
Yeah.
down, and you'd pour like beer and vodka down the arse crack, and somebody'd lie in the, and I've done stuff like that. That it's not the what really makes me wince. It's not the drinking, the alcohol. It's the position I was in.
Yeah.
It's the addictive part of it. Like I chose to do that because of the addiction. That's what I'm not proud of.
Yeah.
It's not the fact that I've drank all sorts of shit. It doesn't bother me. As an actual what you've drank, it's not that. It's the what embarrasses me about it is the fact that I was that desperate, that desperation for alcohol and wanting to carry on.
Yeah.
And I was on my own
Yeah.
because I went, because the finish of that story is I went up the garage, and I think I bought 2 bottles of wine.
Mm.
Didn't even buy a beer. I think I bought 2 bottles of wine, brought them home, and just got absolutely blind on my own.
Yeah.
Finished
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
night off, and that's the embarrassing part of it that I was. It's the desperation that's the embarrassing part of it. The fact that I was so willing.
Yeah.
I wanted to carry on that much that I made the decision to knock a few slugs off.
Yeah. Well, I put that down to poor planning because I would like apart from the time I shot myself going to Spa, I would always make sure that I had all bases covered. Um, like literally, and this isn't answering that question now because there's I'm slightly different to you. I've got thousands of not outrageous but more despicable things I've done, things I've sacrificed for the sake of a pint of beer. But I would just always make sure I was prepared for any given scenario that there'd be alcohol there, and I'd know
Yeah,
shops that were near locations. I'd know like one thing I always used to do, and this was just rubbish, is there was a period in my rugby career where we were allowed to didn't have to go back on the team bus from away games, and my dad would come to pretty much every away game. He used to love it. He'd come to every away game, and I'd always get him to give me a lift back because if you go on the team bus and you lose, you can't drink that much because then people are like, "Well, we've lost," like, and we might have a game in 5 days or whatever. So they'd be like, "Well, you got to be discreet about it." And you'd always get a couple of beers in on the way home on the team bus. But I knew that if I went home with my dad, I'd go to the shop on the way, and then it's all I could drink as much as I want.
game on. Yeah,
Game on, and I used to do that as many away games as I could. I'd just go, "Oh, I'm going home, not coming back on the bus." Yeah, fine. And then I'd go. I'd always know the nearest shop to the ground that we played at, and then go in the corner shop, see Boss Man, and that'd be me sorted for the night. But that's like just rubbish because the whole now I think of rugby and team sport, and like the bus back is that's where you sing the songs and you have a laugh or you share losing and like fuck that's rubbish. Who have we got next week? Or like how can people would be watching the game back on the bus back going, "Oh, this was good," or and I'd just be in the car with my dad. Obviously it's with my dad, so it's like, quality time
yeah,
with him I suppose, but just having talk sport and cans and I'm like, what was I doing? It's just ridiculous that you do that. But like you say, you'd do anything. You're desperate at all times. So that's just a normal thing that we
yeah.
used to do.
Yeah. I'd be different to you on that because obviously you were quite um, meticulous about your alcohol. Then, if you
Yeah,
needed your bases covered, you were regimented in
I had
what you were doing.
systems. Yeah,
Yes, systems. You see, whereas I think for a lot of my time, I was in complete denial about it. So I wouldn't have alcohol in the house very often because I was like, I don't need that. I'm not,
Yeah,
you know, I was in total denial. But I'd be out 4 or 5 nights a week. You know,
yeah,
I'd be going to this 24-hour garage that, you know, like in the previous story. I'd be going to that all the time. Because, you know, I was totally in denial about what I was doing.
yeah,
Just buying two for 6 bottles of wine at 1 in the
yeah,
morning.
yeah,
But getting up the next day and be like, no, I've not got a problem.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Definitely not got a problem.
I
Mad,
guess,
isn't it?
yeah, I guess the where I'd answer the question, the listener question is more more just rubbish things I'd do. But one thing just came to my mind just because it's Christmas and stuff, and Christmas is always a big drinking time. But there's a thing in Australia called return and earn where you get 10 cents for an empty can. So there's these recycling centres, you put it on the conveyor belt and it will give you 10 cents for every empty can or bottle you put in. And obviously me being an alcoholic, I was like, that's incredible. Like I first got here and I was like, wow, like basically I can't wait to start drinking because I didn't drink when I first moved here. I was having that year off. I was like, I
Yeah.
can't wait to get into the return and earn. And it was like my passion. It was this return and earn where I'd for like months I'd store cans and cans in the garage, like bottles, cans, just boxes of them. It was a bit like, you know, on Aladdin, where the diamond in the rough is like in that cave,
Divine, yeah,
and there's just
mate.
shit everywhere.
You're
But my,
talking to Mr. Disney here. Of course,
yeah,
I know the Cave of Wonders.
yeah, my garage was very much the cave of empty beer
Wonders.
vessel
Yeah.
wonders. And Brody would be like, I'm not going in there, it's disgusting. And I'd be in there like, but what do you mean? Like, look at all this. Because to me, it was like, I'm going to get probably like $10 for like 1,000 cans here. So like, this is, I'm quids in here, Brody. What do you mean?
Yeah.
And they'd just be like, because of all the dried beer and stuff, there'd be
Yeah,
cockroaches and
sticky
just
and
shit
horror. Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah, of course.
You're trying to go on a family bike ride and there's just like empty 4X gold cans everywhere in the garage. I'm like, no, don't throw that. That's 10 cents there. And just obsessed with this return and earn. And I'd build it up to the kids going like, going to do return and earn next week. And they were a bit younger. So they were like, yay. Like it was like a theme park. Because Brody used to work in a salon. So she'd be out all Saturday. So I'd be like, right, Saturday, we're doing return and earn. And I'd be drinking as much as I could because I was like, each can is 10 cents I get back. Convincing myself that I was
Yeah.
earning money. And we'd do like these trips to the return and earn. Like, who's ready then? The kids would be like, yeah, because kids like anything. They like any time with their parents. And then I'd take them, and like, unfortunately, the return and earn attracts other alcoholics. You know, people base their lives on return and earn. I think they,
Yeah.
you know, it's just it's a legitimate hobby for some people. So I was there with like these other pissheads putting the bottles in. I go, right, kids, you can have that. There's 50 bottles there. You can keep them. Like to my 4-year-old children, like you can keep them, and whatever you get for them, it's yours. And they'd have these vouchers for like $2, going like, yes, $2 to spend at Woolworths, and that's my day out with the kids I used to do. And I think that's just something. Like I said, there's thousands of things I can think of, but that is a particularly rubbish way I used to spend time with my kids on a Saturday. I would
Yeah.
be working hard all week, and bless them, they'd be like, "How good's it?" Like they used to enjoy it,
How good's this? How good's this?
and they'd just be walking, you know, barefoot on broken glass where you miss the hole. It's just, you know, kids shouldn't be doing that. But they did used to enjoy it. In fairness, maybe it wasn't that bad. But no, it's rubbish. It's rubbish, and I couldn't think of anything worse now than doing that. You know, because it used to take a long time. You'd sometimes be behind someone. They'd have like 100 bottles. You'd be like, "Fucking hell, I'm gonna have to wait 5 minutes here." And
I can't believe the again, but drawing back to like we were saying with alcoholics and addicts, the dedication you have shown is incredible to the cause. You know that that dedication to because I mean, how much is it? How much is a beer? How much is a what have you? How many have you got to drink to get one back?
$2 a beer, roughly. So that's 20,
20
20,
beers to
20
get one for
empties.
free.
20
To
empties to
get
get one
one
for free.
free.
Mate, you can't knock a
So
freebie. Also, Great Northern, the beer I used to drink, used to do promotions, and they know what they're doing, don't they? But it used to be like, with every 3 pack, with every 3 cartons, you can be in the running to win a gas burner, a little gas Coleman burner camping stove.
yeah,
And I'd
right.
be like, Brody, have you seen this?
Yeah.
And she'd be like, what? And I'm basically saying, if I spend $150 on beer, I'll get a $15 gas burner that doesn't do its job. And she'd be like, yeah, that's rubbish. Like, and I'd be like, how good's that? And I was like, if you get 8, you get a sleeping bag. And looking back now, it's like, it's probably where you end up, is a fucking living in a sleeping bag.
Yeah, with
You end up
with
that way.
with a gas burner.
That's what they're doing.
That's,
They're
you've
going,
got you
yeah,
just
this
yeah.
bloke
You're
needs all the kit he can get.
you are
Let's
going to be a homeless alcoholic.
yeah,
So we're going to kit you out along the way with all the cartons you buy. We're going to
yeah.
kit you out slowly.
Please flip over the cardboard and write your message on that for your little. And I'm not taking the piss at all out of homeless people, but it's funny how they're giving away sleeping bags and gas burners, and that's probably
Yeah.
where you end up. Fuck.
It's
So
all,
yeah,
it's steeped in irony.
yeah. But I used to love a freebie that goes with alcohol, but it's not a freebie in any way, is it? I've got a
Quite the
couple of
opposite.
I got 3 Carlsberg footballs up there in my cupboard that was a Carlsberg promotion. I hate Carlsbergs, the worst beer in
Yeah,
the world.
worst beer.
They were
Yes,
giving
yeah,
away these
worst beer.
Carlsberg footballs, and I was like, they look like they curl, and they do curl. They're like they're good balls. So I got 3 of them deflated in my cupboard just for a rainy day. They're maybe the best freebie I've ever had. What's the best freebie you've ever had with beer? Have you
No,
ever
I
had
don't
one?
know, mate. Not really. No, I
No.
wasn't into that. Um, no, I like nicking glasses. I
Yeah.
was bad for that.
Yeah.
Half-inching glasses, and I've had them from everywhere. And when I knew, I didn't know it was getting out of hand. I used to find it funny, but when we had kids, the bottom of the pram was brilliant for glasses.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was absolute refuge zone. When you had
Yeah.
kids, you just yeah, right, we're taking the pram today. Might have a few glasses away.
Yeah. Lovely.
Which again is terrible, isn't it? Terrible, but meticulous planning. Meticulous planning.
Yeah, you got to get what you can, though. You got to get what you can. I remember once walking home with my daughter when she was like 1, and I went for lunch with my mum and had a few beers, and then I basically went and bought a crate, put that in the bottom of the pram, and then drank that on the way home. And there was nowhere to put the empties because there's not return and earn in England. And I
No.
basically was putting the empties around Shiloh, my daughter, like
Sorry.
like a dead body
Yeah. The
detective.
image the image that creates is
And it
not
was,
real.
I remember it was Strongbow as well. And I got to Brody. I thought, oh, it'd be a good idea. I'll pop in and see Brody while she's at work in the hair salon. And I got there, and you don't realise how insane you are. And I turn up with the pram with the outline of Shiloh's body in Strongbow cans.
Yeah.
And Brody just looked at me, going like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah. Half court.
And she was like, she didn't say anything. It was obviously just one of them 2,000 moments she had where she was looking at me, going like, "Fucking hell, I'm married to a disgusting pig here." But yeah, that was everything you say. I've got a despicable story, which isn't great, is
Yeah.
it? Enjoyed the
Yeah.
listener questions. I really hope people keep sending them in because I feel like they bring out it's what people want to hear about, obviously. So if you are a listener, please send in listener questions on our DMs because it does help get the conversation going that actual people might want to hear, as opposed to our selfish narrative that we're
Yeah.
creating here. So mental health, drinking addiction, anything, as daft as it may sound, Dirty Work will accept any form of communication.
Yeah.
And
What insects have you knocked off a pint glass? What mollusks? What mollusks have you brushed off a pint glass?
yeah, and what's the best free item that you've been given?
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
alcohol
Have you
because
have you had a fleece? You would
oh,
like. I think the
have you
have
seen
you got
that
any
one
fleeces?
that Carling
The
fleece
one
that's
I
just
sent
came
you,
out?
yeah, that's
Yeah,
outrageous.
that is
I
so good.
Yeah, it does make you want to find an alcoholic. Doesn't quite make you want to drink again.
No,
Um,
no.
but it wants to make you find an alcoholic and just say, "Get me that fleece."
Yeah, can you get us a fleece?
Just further your own problems and get me that fleece.
Yeah. All right, we'll play the theme tune.
Yeah.
Arriba!